You guys are gonna roast me on a spit and then spit on me, but the most I could say about some of your submissions is, well, they certainly are standing next to each other. This is not about amicable acquaintances. This is about iconic friendships, duos or more than duos, that define platonic lovin'. The makeup is supposed to be peanut butter and jelly. It's supposed to match the friendship thing. I really struggled with this scene. It's 'cause you don't have many friends. What? It's 'cause you don't have many friends. And then she said I didn't have many friends.
Gabe, you write and film these videos yourself. You didn't have to say that.
So you're against me too.
Your videotaping yourself. I do.
Butt lovers, welcome back to Ranking Things. In my last tier list video, we ranked crack ships. And I definitely should have waited to post that until after the release of Tomodachi Life, aka crack shipping the game. As always, I asked you over on my Instagram and Discord for your submissions, and this time I asked you for iconic friendships. As you can see, the tiers are just as convoluted as friendships are. I have thoughts and opinions you may not agree with, and that's okay. Debate me! Yeah, I don't know, I've been getting more bold lately. Why not? Or what not? That's the sponsor of today's video. Why on earth would you buy collector's items or vintage treasures for a fixed price that's often way more expensive than what it's worth, when instead you can find great deals and live stream auctions over on Whatnot? Yes, indeed, this video is sponsored by Whatnot, the #1 live stream shopping app. I love looking for nostalgic items, like VHS tapes and vinyls, but when I'm thrifting, my greatest fear is that this old tech will come scratched up and completely unusable. That's why I love Whatnot live streams that show off the product before you buy. In fact, as I was filming this very sponsor, I decided to jump on a vintage auction live stream and look at what I got. How cute is that? It's giving Mother Goose. I'm bidding. Oh my god, I'm gonna get this for $6. Let's go. I love how easy it is to bid. Instead of holding up a paddle, we swipe. I found so many great small businesses to support, and I know you will too. Use my link or scan the QR code on screen to get $15 off your first purchase on the app. Thank you so much to Whatnot for sponsoring this video. Now let's rank some iconic friendships. First up, we have Mordecai and Rigby. I'm only gonna do this once. They match each other's freak. They match each other's hype. Sometimes they don't just whoa, but they also create little jingles on the spot.
Don't look at our crotches while we synchronize our watches.
Mind melding was an everyday occurrence. Their friendship survived being co-workers for decades, a space plot that led to one of their other friends dying, and most painfully, Mordecai's love triangle phase. But let's be honest, they barely survived. Rigby really pushed people's buttons, to the point where Mordecai killed him by pushing him into a vortex. I thought this act of violence was a one-off occurrence, but no, Skips, who is usually super level-headed, also killed Rigby. Here's the thing about Rigby. He was so rambunctious and such a troll that Mordecai always felt better about himself by association. He got so comfortable in their dynamic as the one who has their shit together a little bit more, and this really stifled Mordecai in the later seasons.
Besides, no offense, dude, but what would you know about relationships anyway?
I love the reveal that Rigby and Eileen have been dating for months. And I love how shocked Mordecai was because he was too busy having his head up his own ass. But as difficult as it was to watch Mordecai fumble CJ, I had to remember that Rigby's worst moment was before the series even started. In the regular show movie, the ultimate betrayal was revealed that Rigby prevented Mordecai from going to college by making him think he was rejected. Rigby, what the actual fuck? Much like Rose Quartz, we didn't see the most irredeemable stuff until we saw that they already had a bit of a redemption, but good god, dude. So many years to confess, and every year it gets more difficult, but it's no wonder he thought you ruined his life. So much of your friendship was built on a complete lie, and Rigby admits it was to get Mordecai to stay. If you were so worried about your friendship that you need to be together all the time, that's really bad. You can be in different phases in your life and still be friends. The fact that you force your friend into being in the same phase of life that you're in, I want to defend Rigby, but I literally can't. I have to put myself in the heads of one of these douchebags because the placement is a no-brainer. No denying they're iconic, but they're also very toxic. I have to extend an olive branch to the Fresh Beat Band fans. I can't tell you how many times I thought I would do a lore video on this show, only for them to lose in a poll, and then I just fully abandoned it. There were riots over this. I'm gonna be honest, I pledged my loyalty to the Imagination Movers. Allegedly, and this is not the actual fault of the Fresh Beat Band cast, but the Imagination Movers, this is true, sued their ex-manager for representing and favoring their main competition, which was the Fresh Beat Band. I had to hold myself back from starting a stan battle over 13-year-old drama, but let's get into the actual show. Immediately I feel, and this is my bias showing, but I felt a bit unnerved at Twist giggling at absolutely nothing. He also pushed his bandmates who fell on him. Dude, cancel Twist. Here's the biggest difference between the two bands, and then I'll stop comparing after this. But everyone who walked into the Imagination Movers warehouse was like, wow, this is amazing! Meanwhile, the Fresh Beat Band's world is just that colorful. They're all like this. Everyone sings and dances. Look at this shot of the background dancer just waiting for his cue. I was like, is he gonna dance? Oh, there he is. There he goes. This isn't a problem by any means, but it doesn't help them stand out as much. Okay, I've talked shit for too long. Their songs are catchy. Their vocals are fantastic. They even made a "it needs more cowbell" joke, an SNL reference that surely went over every kid's head. All of them shrugging at Twist's shenanigans. Uh-oh. Now I gotta add them to my polycular worship group Instagram account. Yeah, sure they're friends, but you know what screams best friends even more? Being best friends in real life as well. And not recasting a band member halfway through the show. It's not even like they introduced a new friend. They just fully thought we wouldn't notice a brand new Marina. These two look nothing alike.
She's getting ready to tell her whole life story. We'll be here forever.
Wonder if she has any string cheese.
I've been rewatching a lot of Pokemon Johto, and I just realized something about Ash, Misty, and Brock's dynamic. 7-year-old Athena was too busy crushing on Brock to realize Ash is a really great main character. He is passionate to the point of delusion. I love how long it took him to win. I made this joke back in the day about Mamma Mia's Sophie reading her mom's diary and then running, making her friends chase after her. But Ash has this same excitable, I just gotta run energy. He is always laughing and running. Brock and Misty are exhausted. The Zephyr badge will be mine! We can walk and have fun. He cannot be contained. He cannot calm his Ash down as much as Misty and Brock try. They all need to be reeled in sometimes. Brock with his creepy obsession with women, Misty with her bug-type hate and Psyduck abuse, and Ash is just always ready to battle. My favorite typical Ash moment is when he tries to be level-headed for a few seconds, and then a 5-year-old will run up to him and say, "Hey, dork-ass with the weak Pikachu, battle me!" And Ash is immediately set off. "Weak Pikachu, I'll make you eat those words!" Misty and Brock are for the most part endeared. They wouldn't join him on this journey if they weren't. Misty will always be like, "I'm just here for my bike." Come on, girly. Come on. There's definitely some mutual bullying going on here, but it's all banter. Good God, good Arceus, rather. These three are icons, undoubtedly. Kinda toxic, though. We gotta put that out there. Just kinda toxic. Prepare for trouble!
And make it double.
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse!
James.
Now for my my opinions about Team Rocket. You know I love these guys. Look at this specific request. Jesse and James ... and Meowth. That's cold. Damn, as if the little dude doesn't get enough disrespect on this team. I love when he scratches their faces because most of the time they really deserve it. Here's the thing. The inclusion of Meowth makes me think, let him go. Meowth deserves better. But if we're just focusing on Jesse and James, I have an opinion that is very unpopular. I do in fact ship them. They are gender fluid bi for bi. No one else in the Pokemon universe can match their freak. But I'm excited to hear your rebuttals. People hate to hear this, but as much as Anne, Sasha, and Marcy had a huge impact on each other's lives, they aren't actually best friends forever. They are friends. But best? The whole series shows that Anne was stifled in this trio, to the point where she had no idea who she was or what she was capable of. Sasha always took the wheel. The creator of the series even explained the toxicity and cracks in the friendship foundation, and the entire fandom tore him to shreds for it. Those are his characters. People need to discover fan fiction, for the love of God. If you enjoy characters but would have handled their arcs differently or would have written them differently, holy shit, let me introduce you to a site called AO3. Also, I think everyone assumes not super close anymore implies a dramatic friendship breakup, but there are so many people I have genuine love for and really care about and wish them the best, where we just drifted apart. Drifting apart is way more common than the internet will have you believe. Friendship compatibility doesn't begin and end with liking someone. Their power-ups rocked, them reuniting in the future was beautiful, and the name Calamity Trio kicks ass. But let's look at the definition of calamity, shall we? A disaster or event that causes extensive damage, destruction, or deep lasting distress. Oh, yeah, the name came from the Calamity box, but that just shows the moment they opened it, for better or for worse, everything changed. Their friendship from that point on is defined by that shared trauma. They can be good individual people who grew a lot and are still not great friends for each other. They're all iconic, but I'm personally rooting for Anne the most. She's the main character for a reason. However, Spran against the world for real. Anne and Sprig defined found family. They bring so much joy and chaos and love out of each other, and especially vulnerability. Sprig is the king of procrastination and kind of pushing aside his feelings in the beginning, and when he opened up to Anne about mourning his mother, that scene was so well done. Even though they're from separate worlds, and spoiler alert, they can't ever visit, Sprig changed the trajectory of Anne's life. Her job is studying frogs. Frogs that remind her of her brother, and if they could visit each other, and if they could talk, I know they would be absolutely inseparable. I'm going to be talking about many of the Amphibia characters for the Ranking Redemption Arcs video when I finally get to that, so stay tuned. But yeah, even with that incredibly bittersweet ending, you look up best friends in the dictionary, and you will see these two. I love them so much, I will cry. SpongeBob and Patrick, one of the most iconic friendships, even if you haven't seen an episode. Yellow and pink, and you got the sponge that's a freaking rectangle, and Patrick that's a star. Character design goals. Again, you don't even have to watch an episode. The way they look together, it tickles you. But if you do watch the show, you know they share custody of one brain cell, and Patrick is the deadbeat dad of said brain cell. As one of my viewers pointed out when they submitted this, their friendship is very different before and after the movie. I would have to agree. Before the movie, Patrick still had a temper, as seen in the Valentine's Day episode. We see that Patrick can be a troll, like in the Secret Box episode, but there is a difference. One, there was more good moments to even out the asshole moments. In the movie, Patrick is the definition of a ride or die. He literally did both. And two, early seasons SpongeBob was a lot smarter, so it seems like he knew what he was getting into more. as opposed to the later season SpongeBob, who is kind of a perpetual victim. The whole town left on I Hate SpongeBob Day, his diary was read aloud, he can't catch a fucking break. If you watched my last SpongeBob video, you know I hold the very unpopular opinion that Squidward and SpongeBob are the duo of the show, but there are more layers there. The musical says BFF stands for SpongeBob and Patrick. They bubble blow, they catch jellyfish, they're goofy goobers, goddammit. No one else unapologetically embodies whimsy like SpongeBob, but Patrick is a close second. Everyone else in Bikini Bottom is too much of a judgmental asshole to partake in childlike shenanigans with SpongeBob. Even though the snark and bad faith teasing of their town will occasionally infect Patrick, I'd say their friendship is a net positive. Net, like jellyfish net. I'm in between kinda toxic but iconic. Look up friends in the dictionary and they'll pop up, and I like one person more than the other. I love SpongeBob more than Patrick and also more than half of my family, so like all three of those tiers apply to these two. I don't know. All three tiers. Let's just put them in all three tiers. Now my first instinct for iCarly and Sam is to say that they're toxic, but are they? I mean, if you added Freddy into the equation, it would most definitely be toxic. That poor lad is abused. Sam is a loose cannon, and she's very violent, but Carly seems to be in almost full control, using Sam as a weapon. Remember the time she sicked Sam to destroy this bully?
Rip her head off.
The whole reason they became friends is because Carly had enough of a backbone to stick up for herself against Sam in elementary school. Sam also found a safe place. As much as the aggression is played for laughs, she is a clearly very traumatized individual. She hangs out at Carly and Spencer's house more than at her own. Carly is more of an everyman, and Sam needs serious help. It's an opposites attract type friendship, but I'm still gonna put them in kinda toxic. Sam and Carly don't really talk anymore, as seen in the already cancelled reboot. Now, what if the iCarly web show was exactly as it was, but instead it was hosted by two middle-aged men?
We bubble wrapped everything.
Yes, usually I don't talk about real people in these ranking things videos, but Rhett and Link have what I consider to be possibly the most iconic friendship of all time. They had a sort of friendship wedding, making a promise to each other, putting it in writing, and making a blood oath. It sounds dramatic, but they were so serious about it. And the more time that went by, they just proved to everyone else just how serious they were. They are best friends forever. Comedy duo, musical duo, the duo. You know how when a couple breaks up online, people are like,
I don't even know if love is real anymore.
if these two were ever not friends, that would actually shatter my reality. No pressure, Rhett and Link, if you're watching. I know you're not. Would I end all of my friendships on the spot if that happened? I want to say no, but like, holy shit. What would even be the point? I'm only half joking. One day I will break free from this parasociality. When I was in middle school, I shipped these two men. The ship name is called Rink, and I freed myself from those shackles because I was like, hey, wait a minute. These guys are real, and this isn't a journal. This is the internet, where they are. And they must be creeped out that a minor is writing all of this. As online and as oversharey and as parasocial as I am now, there was a time where it was worse. Wow. Pretty cool. Their friendship has evolved so much that they are profiting off a spin-off show called Good Mythical Evening. It's behind a paywall, and the entire premise is them getting drunk and contemplating exploring each other's bodies.
I think I'm becoming bi.
I love them, but not nearly as much as they love each other. It's beautiful. When talking about friendship, it's important to mention everybody's favorite Discovery Family show, inspired by toys from Hasbro. I'm of course talking about Littlest Pet Shop. For this friendship tier list, we are talking about Sunil the mongoose and Vinny the gecko. Sunil's a magician, Vinny is a dancer. They are both pretty mischievous and mess with Russell the hedgehog, who is way more organized and uptight. I'd say they're both jerks sometimes, but Vinny more so, because much like Patrick Star, he is prone to huge temper tantrums. A friendship low was in the episode Sunil's Sick Day. Sunil wasn't actually sick. The title and Sunil lied to us. He just didn't want to see his best friend Vinny at the pet daycare that's only called Littlest Pet Shop because of the toys branding. Anyway, Sunil and Vinny got into a huge fight the day before, and they both recount the events very, very differently. Russell the Hedgehog, being the detective he is, finds out the objective truth. The actual conflict, Vinny was being a shithead, broke Sunil's magician table. Sunil confesses he didn't actually care about that. Vinny does that all the time. Vinny then takes a nap, and when he wakes up, his tap shoes are gone. So he accuses Sunil of stealing them and then breaks, in air quotes, Sunil's magic wand. Sunil would have been 1,000% in the right if he didn't lead Vinny and everyone on to thinking that Vinny broke an actual wand when it was a gag. The best part of the whole episode was pre-apology, when the two best friends thought about how empty their life would be without each other. They love watching scary movies together, and are too freaked out to watch them alone. They take bubble baths together. There was a flashback of Vinny helping Sunil, who was choking on these bubbles, before making him a bubble hat. And then when he was thinking about what this experience would be like alone, we see Vinny hugging a bubble version of Sunil that pops right before his eyes. What they usually do together is soulmate activities. A bicycle built for two, sharing a milkshake together. They are teary-eyed after one fight, one day apart, thinking about the imaginary scenarios if they never made up. To quote famous philosophers, the Naked Brothers Band, if that's not love, then what is? If that's not friendship, then what is? They're toxic towards other people, but usually not towards each other. I'm just gonna say it. Top tier. Sorry. Okay, now we're talking about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I faked you out before, I got you so good, you should have seen the look on your face. There are so many combos and duos in this show. If I talked about every one of them, this video would be 100 times the length, so let's just generally discuss the main 6 and the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Every character has such a strong personality, and the way they're able to thrive together, despite being so different, is beyond admirable. Everyone is jealous of this friend group. Everyone wants a group this understanding. For the most part, I recently rewatched The Canterlot Wedding, and I cannot believe how quickly they all turned against Twilight. All for somebody they just met. I misremembered. I thought they were also changelings, but no. So yes, it's also important to acknowledge that this dynamic varies depending on who's writing the episode, and if they're going to prioritize the conflict over the group being in character. I mean, sure, we're not flawless, we're work in progress, and all that, but also, sometimes the choices the writers make philanderize the shit out of our girls. I usually adore Rarity. She's kind of become my favorite character. I love the dichotomy of a pony who's a bit judgmental and vain, but also super, super generous, but they go too far with it sometimes. The ranking series is also a place where I can soft launch ideas. So how would you guys feel if I made a video dedicated to overanalyzing the Equestria girls? Listen, I know their dynamics differ, and Sunset Shimmer fascinates me. Being from the pony world, but choosing an alternate pocket dimension universe of rainbow-hued humans. There's a lot to unpack there. It may have started as a cash grab, an opportunity for merch, but I think we could have fun looking into it. Plus, it's like one of the few topics we can discuss from My Little Pony that hasn't been talked about to death. Back to the friendship between these girlies in pony form. Yeah, obviously they're iconic. Each of them symbolize pillars of friendship, except it's actually harmony. So we have magic for Twilight. And as I've said a million times, and I think everyone here agrees, Rainbow Dash and Applejack's elements should have been switched. Rainbow Dash screams honesty with her rude ass, and Applejack and her family values is way more loyalty. I'm obviously gonna have to place them at the top tier. The Cutie Mark Crusaders have matching cutie marks. And I know some of you guys think the cutie marks are ugly. I thought it was cute. And instead of helping people with friendship like the main 6, they try to help people find out what their gift is. Their individuality, which is kind of ironic because ever since they got this gift, their individuality was kind of thrown on the back burner. But their cutie marks aren't identical. They also have their individual talents. Sweetie Belle has a music note. That makes sense. Apple Bloom has an apple, just like the rest of her family. No surprise there. And Scootaloo has a lightning wing. Sure. I don't know. I kind of wanted more from this trio. They started so strong. Bab's Seed is one of my favorite songs in the series. The Cutie Pox was also a fun episode. And I loved exploring the uncertainty and insecurity that comes with waiting for a cutie mark. It's kind of a puberty allegory, but also more so coming of age. Not as iconic as the main 6, but I'm also throwing them in the top tier. You can't stop me. Thank you for suggesting Totally Spies. It's been so long since I watched this show. And the only thing I really remember are the iconic gadgets, like the laser lipstick. Shut up. I love that clip that resurfaced that's like, oh my gosh, she's bald. She's bald and she's torturing people who have hair. It actually kills me. The trio's names are Clover, Alex, and Sam. Clover is the blonde, boy-obsessed fashionista. Sam is the smart one, and Alex is the sweet one who's unsure of her place in the group.
That's what best friends are for. Hey, what about me? Aren't I your best friend too? Aww. Well, of course you are, silly.
I love that they reassure her. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice moment, but it makes sense why she was my favorite. I always root for the underdogs. In this first episode, they're way too wrapped up in their job for me to see their everyday dynamic. All they talked about outside of the mission was borrowing clothes and boys, and then were thrown into the spy plot. Their job is iconic. They work well together for the most part. Clover was useless this episode, but right now it's screaming iconic co-workers more than iconic besties. I gotta watch more of the show. For now, it's inconclusive. I'm just gonna assume iconic but kinda toxic. I'm just gonna assume that. Because I feel like Alex is just as confused about her own identity as Anne in Amphibia was. I guess this is the girly poop section because next we're covering Bratz. Let's see if they live up to their name. I decided to watch the movie Bratz Rock Angelz, also with a Z, so I'm only going based off of that. We open on them thrashing as they wash this car. We have hair so shiny it glows. As this song plays about me and my girls, boop-a-doop-boop, that's how we like it, oh. It's obviously very heavily inspired by Christina Aguilera's Genie in a Bottle. Just listen. Everyone in this Bratz band plays a guitar. No percussion, no piano. Oops, all berries-ification. I started to feel an extreme sense of deja vu before I realized Curtis Connor made a video about this. He was not exaggerating about all the cutaways.
Strike one for the Bratz.
More cutaways than Family Guy, but instead of a family, they're friends, and instead of a guy, they're girls. Friends girls. That should be their band name, Friend Girl. You can tell Jade and Chloe are really close friends because Chloe gives great advice.
Wow, that's really awful, but try to hang in there. This is your dream.
I joke, but you know, sometimes that's all you need to hear. That plus that sick kickflip she did, it's no wonder she's kind of the titular bitchular. Her nickname is Angel. They all have such affectionate nicknames. There are these twin bully characters, and while they're mocking Jade, they just pop out of the same stall of a restroom together. If I point out everything strange that happens in this movie, we'd be here all day. An ongoing mystery is that after that car wash band session with 5 girls, the movie starts. The flashback part of the movie, and there are 4 girls. Chloe, Yasmin, Sasha, and Jade. They scheme their way to London using Jade's fashion internship that she was fired from after 5 seconds of working there. Even though the mean girl bullied twins who got her in trouble in the first place accidentally threw out the magazine owner's mail because they're also interns there. Anyway, it's still illegal to open up other people's mail. And they go to a venue they weren't invited to using in intel Jade got from her old job. This is all very illegal. I'm sorry you were bullied. You'll still be arrested. These girls are so stupid. Chloe, who starts out as the greatest friend, immediately ditches her group for some guy she just met. We also have Sasha fucking with this London soldier, an offense that would have you kicked in the head by a royal guard horse in real life. Yasmin is jealous of Chloe in a way that feels particularly sapphic. She complains that the guy Chloe is with, Nigel, calls Chloe pretty princess, because that's usually what Chloe calls her. Oh. The B in LGBT stands for bratz. With a Z. Chloe ditches her friends for this guy again. Bruh. They talked for 2 seconds on an airplane and it spiraled into this.
What's going on?
Sasha isn't including Jade for any of the magazine planning, so they're butting heads too. This friend group is in shambles. They never should have opened up a business built on crime. But as quickly as they fell apart, the group reunites after Chloe got dumped. But first, her other crush has to save her. How'd he pick up that shoe as he was driving on the motorcycle? Even the friends forgiving has to be put off for some guy. Roxy, the 5th girl that we've been waiting for, doesn't join our group until an hour in, 10 minutes before the movie ends. We know nothing about her, but they perform together. They have a music video of them skydiving. When did this happen? And at the end of the movie, Simon Cowell even appears. Sorry, not Simon Cowell. Brian Powell. I don't know what this movie was about, but I don't think it was about friendship. I kind of feel like they're the only people that are able to put up with each other, so it works out. My best friend's brother is the one for me. Draculora and Clawdeen from Monster High. I understand the situation being very uncomfortable for Clawdeen, but I forgot it escalated into her making her vampire best friend faint with meat before telling her brother she's not like us, Claude. The different species prejudice? Gross! And before that even happened, she hid letters her brother wrote to Draculora. She thought he didn't care when really it was his sister and her best friend getting between them. So much 2000s and 2010s girly media was riddled with conflict that only stems with possessiveness over guys. Even the phrasing of Clawdeen giving her blessing was weird as shit. You're the only girl I know good enough for my brother. Ugh. I know we love and care about our family, but that wording makes it seem like she's justifying the way she tested her own best friend. The hazing ritual she inflicted upon somebody she's supposed to care about. And there's a big difference between the words good enough, which sounds like Draculora is just barely passing, and saying something like, you two are great together, or I can't think of someone as perfect as you for him. You know? The only girl good enough for my brother. That's disgusting. I know I'm looking into it a lot, but I don't remember it being this bad. Just based on this? What if I said I don't think they should be friends?
You need to leave.
Listen, I know I'm only judging them off their friendship lows, but at the same time, Clawdeen was forgiven so easily she couldn't sit with this guilt for a little bit. Clawdeen deserves better than to be written this way. Good answer, good answer. How about that? If you have an attachment to the character, we're good, okay? Molly and Scratch from The Ghost and Molly McGee. Scratch is the ghost, if you didn't know. These two make me emotional! Molly is an eternal optimist, and Scratch sometimes acts as the devil on her shoulder because he is, in layman's terms, a shit-eating fuck. The baseball episode cracks me up. It lives in my head. If you believe, and cheat a little. And Molly is just flying through the air with ghostly powers. I wheezed the first time I watched this. So already their tomfoolery, legendary. I am putting a timestamp on screen because I need to talk about the finale, and I recommend you watch it if you haven't yet. The whole time we think Scratch is a ghost. But no, the title of the show, and me a few seconds ago, lied to us. Throughout the show, we see that Scratch doesn't remember a lot of his life. And it's because his body is still alive. His body is out there living a soulless life. He bed-rotted from extreme agoraphobia. The woman he loved went on adventures, and he could never leave the house. The lyric of his song still gives me goosebumps. So afraid of dying that I never lived a day. What the hell, man? This show was all goofs and silliness until Libby's deadbeat dad abandoned her again and Scratch's backstory was revealed. Shows that get real out of nowhere deliver a gut punch much harder than going into a show knowing it's going to be a tearjerker. When Scratch finally decides to return to his body, he forgets about all the adventures he had with his friend Molly. But there's still a part of him. He remembers her little catchphrase even though he doesn't know where it came from. And when he said goodbye to her, he used his nickname for her. A perfect conclusion, just like Amphibia. And it hurt just as much, but for a different reason. Can you believe this was the ending to a show where the theme song had the lyrics, "You and me for all time, I never, ever, ever gonna be alone again. The dream team, you and me, for all eternity." No, not all eternity. Still iconic though, I'm gonna cry. See, Buzz and Woody saying goodbye was supposed to make me just as emotional, but after the third movie, I felt nothing. Their rivalry was great, old versus new, but how many times can they recycle old versus new before it's just old? The fifth movie is supposed to be about newfangled tech. Cool. Make a new movie. If a series of movies goes beyond a trequel, you better have something new to say. But the fourth, and I'm gonna assume fifth, even though it's not out at the time of me recording this, it seems beyond redundant. Even in the trailer, the toys are like, "Aw, Buzz and Woody are bumping heads again." Just like old times. I'm bored! I'm bored! They were iconic, but I feel like that meme from the first movie. I don't want to play with you anymore. Unfortunately, now when I think of Buzz and Woody, I think of this.
You're all that I think of, Buzz and Woody incest.
What? They're not related. But you know what? The earworm is getting to me. Maybe I ship them now. Buzz is literally dating the girl version of Woody. Come on now. Candace and Vanessa from Phineas and Ferb. Their friendship really caught me off guard because obviously the first time we see the parallels between them was in the song Busted. They didn't even know they were singing together. But it also meant a lot to me to see somebody as off-the-wall, silly, goofy, slightly neurotic as Candace befriend somebody mysterious and cool like Vanessa. I feel like when you have a very quirky, very hyperactive, emotional, girly, big theater energy, you assume that the goth girl and her wouldn't get along. I love dynamics where it's an unlikely duo. I wish we saw them hang out more. I wish Vanessa didn't get with her little brother, but they're so iconic. They're so iconic. They have potential to be even better friends. I'm gonna put them in acquaintances, but just know they mean a lot to me. Tiana and Lottie from Princess and the Frog are also a great subversion. Every time people think of Lottie, somebody who's wanted romance her whole life, she got all dolled up, she's so excited for the prince. It would have been so easy for them to make her the villain, but she cares about her friends so much. Her winning isn't a threat to her. And it's so important for girly media to show this off because, like I said with the early 2000s, we grew up on Bratz. We grew up on girly media where the girl who doesn't get the guy will be jealous. Jealousy is a normal emotion, but it shouldn't be encouraged. And I feel like it's very normalized for girls, especially girls who crave romance. There is nobody that craved romance more than Lottie, but she isn't going to make it other people's problem. I mean, she got her dad to do this whole ball thing, but still, your friend winning is not a threat to you. She is an almost perfectly written character. I'm gonna say something where all of you are gonna be like, it's not that deep, but she dances with his 6-year-old little brother at the end and she says, well, I've waited this long. And I know it's a joke. I know she's not legitimately grooming the kid, but it's just still a weird joke. Just put a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, ew, Lottie, no. I love these two together. I need more queens supporting queens. We need more girly media that can act as something we strive for. They're going on the top tier, obviously. There wasn't a huge demand for Fifi and the Flowertots, but I very selfishly chose it because seeing the stop motion animation, this is right up my alley. You know, anytime there's cutesy stop motion, I will be there. Before I even watched a full episode or learned anything about this show, I saw the character Stingo, and his appearance, his voice, and his selfish tendencies really reminded me of Spud from Bob the Builder. Well, guess what? Fifi and the Flowertots was made by the same person who made Bob the Builder. And look, there's even an alive vehicle. Do you think this takes place in the same world? The scenery in this series is even more endearing. Fifi, the titular bachelor, lives in a flower pot, which is very fitting for her because she often forgets things like a pothead.
Fifi, forget me not. Forgot.
Or yeah, okay, she's a forget-me-not. That makes sense too. I watched the very first episode, Fifi's talent show. This episode does a really good job of highlighting Fifi's selflessness. It really proves why she's the main character. First, we see her two friends practice. Primrose, who is tall and has dimple-like freckles, is a model. She is very big-headed about her appearance, and even insults this slug, who confesses his admiration for her. Sure, he didn't have to make it a big public spectacle putting her on the spot, but you can tell she's embarrassed only because he's ugly. Weird little detail for a kid's show, huh? Primrose lives with Violet in this watermelon house. I'm obsessed with these houses, dude. And Violet is super talented. She has the best talent by far.
What a bitch!
Fifi is also friends with this bumblebee, who doesn't apologize after slamming the door on her, making her fall down, and he makes her listen to his god-awful singing. I hate this guy. His singing must be just as bad in-universe, because the talent show host pushes him off the stage. You're not getting the hook, you're getting the hook. Fifi, putting her friends first, makes her my favorite by a mile. This is my placement. Maybe watching more episodes would change my mind, but she's really framed as the bestest best friend. Bob and Teddy may have the strangest friendship origin story ever. Have you guys ever had a regular at your restaurant who wants to be you and your wife's third? Guffaw at me all you want, that was totally the implication the first few seasons. Teddy grew on Bob like a rash he's grown to love. Bob is the straight man despite being bi. He's monotone and calm until he's not. Teddy is a needy mess, and sometimes Bob even tests his unwavering golden retriever loyalty.
Eat this.
No. What was that? Don't feed a guy a sponge, Bobby.
As truly unhinged as this moment from Bob was, he worries about this fully grown man like he's the one responsible for his dietary choices. There's this whole episode where Bob feels like he's killing Teddy with his burgers. You're not force-feeding him. Their connection that started with food goes way beyond that. Linda and Bob even trust Teddy enough to watch their kids, despite the fact that he's proven time and time again to be completely incompetent with them. Teddy is lovable yet unstable, and Bob has a tendency to let people like that get far too close to him and his family. Whether it's his landlord, the landlord's brother, the landlord's murderous cousin, a motorcycle gang, Jimmy Pesto the insurrectionist, or even pitiful Teddy. Very iconic, kinda toxic. Another Bob's Burgers duo is Tina and Susmita. They met in the season 9 episode UFO No You Didn't. They were paired together for the science fair project. Like with all science fair projects, one person is not doing the work, the other person is doing everything. Tina is the slacker half of this duo. And Susmita is clearly better at science and is passionate about radio towers, of all things. A few days into their project, Susmita opens up to Tina, asking for advice on how to talk to boys. Little does Susmita know, the guy she's interested in is actively trying to sabotage their project, and it veers into psychological warfare because this nerd makes the girls think that the world is ending. They contacted aliens and the aliens are about to blow up Earth.
Jesus Christ.
Before they were even buds or pals, they have their first fight. And honestly, I think Tina is fully in the wrong here. Susmita is the one who did all the work, so she's the one who gets to decide how they use the radio tower. This was after they figured out that Henry was behind the whole alien destroying Earth thing, and Tina is like, okay, then let's contact real aliens, and Susmita's all freaked out. Maybe Henry has a point. Tina lectures her about the importance of taking chances, a lesson that would have had a better chance of landing if Tina did the one thing she said she'd do on the project. Also, Tina keeps insulting her about not having the guts to ask out the guy she likes, even even when she thought the world was ending. Tina was right about taking risks, but the execution was ass. She was honestly really mean. The whole reason people are excited about Tina making a new friend is because Jocelyn and Tammy are kinda mean to her. But here Tina is not being the nicest to Susmita. Hate to say it. The next episode Susmita has a major role in is FOMO You Didn't. Similar titles. Again, Tina's only other interaction with Susmita is because Susmita is better at schoolwork and she's helping Tina out. Tina does admit by the end of the episode that she had more fun taking pictures for their photography class with Susmita than hanging out at this abandoned, torn down house with the cool kids. Progress, but not enough. For now, they are mostly amicable acquaintances, but Tina needs to value her more. They have so much potential to be friends, but Tina has to get out of her own way. She's still young, she's very boy-centered, she'll figure it out. I know so little about Thomas and Friend, I wrote Thomas Train and Percy Payne. A fitting name, because this guy gets into so many crashes. My first reaction to watching an episode from the show is, there's people? I had no idea. I thought it was like Cars, where there are just vehicles. So are they invented with personalities? Or does it just happen? Who names them? The guy who makes them? That capitalist Monopoly man looking bitch? Apparently, Percy, this green tank engine, is very cheeky. He just can't stop derailing. There is a 30-minute crash compilation, which is 27 minutes longer than I thought it would be. I have to watch more of this show to understand their dynamic, but all the episodes I saw was just Percy teasing Thomas. I didn't even know Thomas could make a "I'm so thoroughly done with your shit" expression. Between this and George Carlin's narration, I have no idea where to put this because I am so distracted by everything else, but I'm gonna take your word for it. They even have a friend song that tells me that one is blue and one is green and they're great friends, you'll see. So yeah, I believe it. I'll see. The Backyardigans! I want to make a lore video about them, but everything is imagined. So I can't overthink anything, except their friendship. We are not doing duos and trios. Just like with the main six, we're looking at the whole group. And trust me, I know that there are individuals in this group that are closer with some than others. Austin is the newest neighbor after all, but they welcome him with open arms and open doors into each other's backyards. I love that they're all connected, but I think the biggest thing that points to them being incredible friends is how they can all agree on what to imagine for the day. I am in awe. I can't even imagine a group so in sync. It reminds me of the time I tried to make my own after-school group. 1, 2. Crap! None of the other neighbors showed up. Guess we'll imagine by ourselves. We're in a castle. No, we're in a swamp. The castle. Swamp. Yes, answer me! Yes, answer me! They are icons. Megamind and Minion. Friendship so overlooked. When you search up Megamind and M, the first suggested search is Megamind and Metro Man. I heard Megamind and Minion, and I pictured the banana minion. Oof. But turns out I'm the belated April Fool because I may have forgotten how hilarious these two are together, especially during their friendship breakup. I'm gonna reenact it. I'll just take my thing and go. Well, good luck on your date. I will. That doesn't even make any sense. I know. Shakespeare wishes. On top of that art, we need a moment to take in Minion's design. It is impressively disgusting. All I remembered was the fish head. Wonderful on its own. But why is his robot body covered in fur? Why does he have such a hardcore Segway? Medieval torture device looking Segway. Maul Blart. Spelled M-A-U-L. Blart. I was a fool to think that these two were just acquaintances. How dare I, honestly. I'm glad I rewatched. They're perfect for each other. Also, I am finally going to let go of my DreamWorks grudge. You heard it here first. Even though they stole my Trolls monetization, and I vowed never to talk about them again, I think I will. I just won't include any clips. We are exclusively working with stupid, distorted screenshots. I still hate them, but I fear I've been shooting myself in the foot because some of their shows and movies are like the most suggested. So, And finally, ending on an extremely high note, me and my animatronic raccoon. We've honestly come a long way. Do you want to tell them or should I? Okay, no, I'll go. Stop talking at the same time. So basically what happened is when I got him from Virginia and I kept him in my studio, which is in the basement, the first few nights I was having nightmares that you were gonna Five Nights at Freddy's me to death. There's just something about his eyes. Just seems like he knows more than he should. No, I'm not saying you're stupid, and I'm not saying that you don't deserve to be smart. But now every time, and this is true by the way, and I know this sounds weird, but now every time I'm filming, I look back at him, I'm like, hi, bud. Now I just think he's just a cute. And as you can see, there's a new addition to the set. These are Great Wolf Lodge ice cream stools that used to belong to the Scoop Spa. I posted a whole video about that because I missed out in my defunct section of me going to every Great Wolf Lodge. If they're shutting down all of their whimsical attractions, I will build my own Great Wolf Lodge in my house. I'm gonna get a cease and desist. Damn it, friendship really did win because no one ended up on the bottom tier. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to subscribe. We're so close to 300,000. I've been saying that forever, but I'm still very excited. Oh, and if you could hype this video, I don't really know what it does, but apparently it helps. Have a great day, butt lovers. I do demand it. Bye!